Imagine if a ghost was sitting right next to you right now, watching you as you read a novel on the couch, binge the latest Netflix series, or even watch this video. Or maybe it's sitting in the passenger seat while you're driving, or staring at you in the movie theater while you enjoy the newest Marvel film. Sometimes you might feel a chill down your spine, making your hair stand on end, while other times you might not even notice the invisible world around you. There are places like Reddit where people share their eerie, unexplained, and supernatural experiences. And here are some spine-chilling ghost stories from people across the globe. Hi, I'm Alina. Welcome back to my channel. In 1946, about 2,000 people gathered at the Odeon Cinema in Bristol to watch a movie called The Light That Failed. Early in the film, the main character is shot and loses his sight. But what the audience didn't know was that something tragic was happening in real life at the same time. The cinema's manager, Robert Barrington Jackson, a 33-year-old father of four, was being murdered in his office. He was shot in the head and discovered by the cinema cafe supervisor around 6:45 p.m. Sadly, Jackson died later that evening in the hospital. Though a Welsh robber confessed to the murder on his deathbed in 1989, the case remains unsolved to this day. Interestingly, the Odeon Cinema is still open, and some say Jackson's spirit haunts it. In Cinema 3, the temperature sometimes drops for no clear reason during movies, and it's believed that Jackson's ghost appears, but only to women. The Xinhai Tunnel, built to link central Taipei to Muja, sits on a hill where a cemetery is located. This has led to many eerie stories. Some drivers report experiencing something called Gyudon chain, where it feels like they are driving through the tunnel without ever reaching the end. Even though they can see the exit, it feels impossible to get there, leaving them with a strange sense of being stuck or trapped. Some people say they've seen a ghost of an old woman sweeping the road inside the tunnel. Drivers honk at her, but she ignores them and keeps cleaning. When a frustrated driver finally stops the car to confront her, she suddenly disappears into thin air. The University of Texas at Brownsville campus is known for its many ghost stories. So many that they could fill 2 books titled The Ghosts of Fort Brown. The campus was once a military fort, and one of the dorms now stands where a 19th century cemetery used to be. Not everyone is scared of the ghosts though. Nursing student Olivia de la Garza shares that a playful ghost of a little boy around 3 years old visits her dorm room just to pull her blankets off at night. Other spooky sightings on campus include soldiers marching in formation, people waltzing and singing old war songs, and women and children in Victorian-era clothes. It's also said that jukeboxes play on their own, and books are mysteriously thrown off the library shelves. Ballyboley Forest in Northern Ireland is said to be an ancient site where druids once gathered. It's also known for its dark history, as many people mysteriously disappeared there during the Middle Ages. Because of this, the forest is considered one of the most haunted places in the world. In 1997, 2 men decided to explore the forest. As they ventured deeper, they suddenly heard a woman crying out in pain. When they tried to find her, all they found were trees covered in blood. Terrified, they quickly turned to leave, but just as they were leaving, one of them looked back and saw 4 hooded figures silently watching them. Others who have visited the forest have reported feeling like they were being watched, seeing dark shadows or witnessing strange lights. Some even believe the forest could be a gateway to another dimension. The Bayview complex at Guantanamo Bay in Cuba is more than just a part of the US Navy base. It has a spooky side too. Built in 1943 as a club for military officers, the building is famous for its ghostly residents. One of the spirits often spotted is an elderly woman who sits on the second floor staring out the window. People say she once lived in the club. and was found dead in a bath years ago. Another ghost, a man in khaki clothing, has been seen walking through the building, moving between the living quarters and the bathroom. Since the building is on the site of old Marine camps, many believe he could have been a Marine during his life. During World War II, the Conn Barracks in Schweinfurt, Germany, was originally used as an hospital and a psychiatric ward. Today, it's a military base for US soldiers. An eerie story involved two soldiers who stayed in the same room, but 2 years apart, and both had the exact same nightmare. In their dream, a soldier stood at the foot of their bed, talking to a nurse who was covered in blood, with a sad expression on her face. The soldier instructed the nurse to do something, and suddenly the nurse began choking the other soldier who was in bed. Both soldiers woke up at this moment of the dream. Later, they learned that their room was directly above a drainage room, where bodies were prepared before burial. Another chilling tale from the barracks is about the ghost of a woman who in life protested against abortions. She is said to run through the hallways carrying a fetus. Wroclaw, the largest city in western Poland, is a vibrant hub with a lively student community. But it's also a city with chilling stories hidden in its history. One eerie tale tells of a grandson who, under the influence of a demonic dwarf, murdered his grandmother. Her haunting screams are said to still echo near the Hansel and Gretel building by St. Elizabeth Church. The house under the Golden Dog, now a restaurant, has its own mysterious legend. It was once home to Frederick the Great, who supposedly experienced a strange force pulling a quill from his hand while writing a letter. Even today, odd noises can be heard coming from the cellar below. The Church of St. Mary Magdalene has its own unsettling shadows, believed to host the spirits of trapped maids unable to escape their eternal fate. Another spooky spot is the chambers on the Partisan Hill, where ghostly screams are said to echo through the empty halls. And at Abrams Tower, which is now a bar, there's an old story from when the building was filled with sewing machines. According to legend, a ghostly figure would set the machines running on their own, with the pedals and wheels moving as if possessed. Wroclaw's beautiful streets hide many stories like this, making it a city full of wonder and a touch of the supernatural. Central Philippine University is filled with eerie ghost stories connected to almost every corner of its buildings. One of the most well-known is about the Rubley Science Hall, which was once used by Japanese soldiers during World War II. It is said that the entire building vanishes at 3 a.m. Some students claim to see a little girl in the hallways with chains around her wrists and feet, softly crying as she plays. The old Valentine building has its own spooky tale. People say that Dr. William Valentine, the university's founder, haunts the place at night, carrying his severed head to frighten anyone who crosses his path. In Franklin Hall, the ghost of a young man who took his own life has been seen by students. Meanwhile, a mysterious lady in white silently watches from another building. Over in Johnson Hall, there are stories of a doppelganger wandering the classrooms. And in a high school compound, another little girl is said to appear, scaring anyone who happens to run into her. Australia is famous for its spooky legends, and one of the most chilling tales comes from the Wakehurst Parkway on Sydney's northern beaches, where a phantom girl is said to roam. But an even creepier story unfolds at the Macquarie Fields train station. When the station is quiet and the last trains have left for the night, you can hear faint crying in the air. The sound grows louder, turning into eerie moans. Suddenly, the ghost of a teenage girl appears. Dressed in dancing clothes with a bloody stain on her chest, she floats around the station, groaning more intensely. Sometimes she simply sits in the middle of the platform, crying out loud, and her soft sobs can turn into terrifying screams. The legend goes that a young woman was tragically hit by a train at this station back in 1906. Ever since then, her spirit has been haunting the place. Japan is known for its spine-chilling ghost stories that can send shivers down your spine. One haunted tale features a Marine who, in a tragic moment, slashed his wrists with broken pieces of a mirror. His spirit is said to be trapped in the mirror forever. Other eerie stories include sightings of floating red eyes and the heart-wrenching screams of victims from the Hiroshima nuclear bomb echoing in the air. There are even reports of people being pulled from their beds by invisible forces. One particularly spooky spot is Gridley Tunnel in Yokosuka. Drivers passing through this narrow one-way tunnel often glance in their rear-view mirrors only to see a samurai standing in the road behind them. The sight has frightened some drivers so much that they've crashed their cars into the tunnel's walls. Most of these encounters happen when it rains, especially between midnight and 1 a.m. Legend has it that the ghost was once a samurai on a quest to avenge his lord's death. However, he was murdered in the tunnel before he could complete his mission, leaving him trapped there forever. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!